Hey friends, welcome to Step It Up Stamping. I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗁, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to start with a very simple card and then step it up with extra layers, techniques, or details so that you can create your own stamping journey where you feel the most comfortable. Let's get started. In today's video, I am using the Snowflake Kisses Bundle and the Elegant Pines Designer Series paper. Let me show you our first card. This is our Busy Bee card, meaning that you could make a ton of these cards in a hurry. Now, I decided to keep this as a winter card because I like to send a lot of friendship cards, thinking of you cards, just because cards when the weather starts to get colder. And I love these colors. It's very monochromatic, but I think it's also very warm, which goes along with the sentiment, right? So I'm starting with a Pretty Peacock card base. Then we've got a strip of white and a strip of that really pretty Elegant Pine Snowflakes Designer Series paper, also in Pretty Peacock. And then I just stamped the sentiment in Pretty Peacock, and there you have it. We have a very, very simple card. And I do have instructions for you on how to make all three of these cards that I'll be showing you today. They have all the measurements, the products, step-by-step instructions. So make sure you grab that if you're interested in having the instructions. Okay, so that was our Busy Bee card. Now let's step this up a notch. And to be totally honest, I didn't step this up a whole lot because I like to make a lot of these cards in the winter. So I wanted it to be a little bit stepped up, but not overly so. I hope that makes sense. So what we have again is another piece, Pretty Peacock card base. We've got the same papers going on here, but what I added was instead of using Pretty Peacock for the matte on the sentiment, I used Pool Party. So still in the same warm tones, cool tones actually in this case. And then I added some of the Balmy Blue. I'm going to move this up so you can see it because it's kind of hard to see. Balmy Blue sheer ribbon. Isn't that pretty? And I just zigzagged it, made a Z out of it, and put it behind the sentiment. And then I added 3 frosted iridescent gems, which really add just a touch, a pop of color, if you will. See, not too hard. You could see this one here, where it really, the smaller gem really picks up the blue. And then these, it kind of brings in that iridescent color. So again, 2 fairly similar cards, but this one you can really see how I stepped it up just with some embellishments, some ribbon, and added in a 3rd color of cardstock. Okay. Now, for those of you that like to put a little bit more time into your cards, I have a fun fold card for you today. This is our Queen Bee card. Whew. It's really over the top. I want to show you this piece right here. First of all, let me do a little explanation and then I'll show you the die. I did use the same paper that I used on the 2 previous cards, but what I did here is I then brought in the Pool Party, and let me flip this over real quick so I can show you. It's this die right here. And it actually cuts out this circle, and then I just put the circle back in. Oh, I have my card upside down. And then I cut out the second circle in white, stamped the sentiment on it, still used the Balmy Blue ribbon and the iridescent dots so that it adds that color back, and it just really adds a bunch of sparkle on here. With the dies from the bundle, I added in some snowflakes, but here's where the fun fold part comes in. Okay, let me show you how this card, I'm going to do it sideways, how this card unfolds. So if it kind of goes up, if you will. Okay. So these are just 2 pieces of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Pretty Peacock. And then I embossed a portion of this with the Soft Waves embossing folder. You can see that I cut out a ton of snowflakes out of white paper. I sponged some of these with Pool Party ink. Let me hold that up so you can see how I sponged them. And then I stamped the Happy Winter right here on the part that I didn't emboss. Now, I want to give you a little hint. I used regular basic white cardstock. Next time when I make this, and this is what I actually put in the instructions, I really encourage you to use thick basic white cardstock. And the reason why is obviously thick is thicker, so it's going to hold up better. But also after you run this piece through the cut and emboss machine, it gets very too flexible, if you will. And so if you use thick cardstock, you're not going to have that problem. Okay, so I don't always recommend thick basic white cardstock, but I really do on this card. It would have made the card not so flimsy. And I think that's important on a card that people are going to open and shut a lot, right? So this is just a piece of cardstock that I've scored, and then I embossed this part of it, and then I glued this down onto the back so it makes that sort of accordion style card. Okay? And like I said, I have complete instructions for you. So let me bring all three back in. We have our Busy Bee card. We have our Worker Bee card. Very similar, very easy to do. And then we have our Queen Bee card. So I'd love to know in the comments below which one is your favorite and which one you'd be most likely to make. I usually say the Busy Bee card is the one I personally would be most likely to make because I'm really into quick and easy cards. But I think this week I would make the Worker Bee. I would only make the Queen Bee cards for my special friends. You can make them all, right? But this is the card I would be most likely to make. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for joining me for today's Step It Up Stamping featuring the Snowflake Kisses Bundle. I look forward to seeing you next week for our next Step It Up Stamping. Have a great creative week, my friends. Bye.